Yeah, so last night we were streaming keys on World of Warcraft, but the Future Game Showcase was on, but there was no way I wasn't playing World of Warcraft last night. So I had a scour. I watched a bit of it last night when I went to bed, a bit of it this morning, and there's a few cool looking stuff. We're not going to watch everything that was announced last night because some of it not for me. It might be for you, but then you go watch the video, right? Yeah, this was everything announced. Right, this game
Rated M for mature.
looks so good. So good.
My home. Not the way it is for you.
Having second thoughts about the expedition.
There's only a very few games that have turn-based combat that have caught my attention. Obviously the old school classics like the Pokemon games, I was well into them when I was a kid. Final Fantasy games, obviously I've been well into them. Lately, kind of
The dance begins.
Persona 5. But I don't know, they just seem to be a dying breed, but this one looks so good. Like, look at this. My thing, I think, with turn-based games is that they don't seem to have evolved to, like, it's almost like the ceiling of turn-based games was already hit years ago, or so we thought. So, like, for example, Final Fantasy, the kings of turn-based combat growing up, but then instead of evolving the turn-based franchise, they were like, nobody wants this anymore. We're going to move to, like, live action fighting. But turns out there was a way to improve turn-based combat, and it's here. It's this game. I mean, look at this. Look at this.
Ankyard. Precise strike. Grace.
It looks like they've got some, like, rhythm elements in there. Look, come on.
Can you keep going like nothing happened?
Nobody can sit there and tell me that that doesn't look insanely good for a turn-based combat game. April 24th, 2025. So that was one that I saw last night that I was super excited for. So yeah, that one looked really cool. This one, Animal Use Protocol, this one really caught my eye. I thought this looked super cool. Like, just a real quirky concept for a horror game. Now, apparently, this has been announced for a while, but I didn't know. I don't know. I've never even paid any attention to it at all. But this looks really cool. There's something really clever about how the voice acting is done on the little rat that he's got. He's got a little Tamagotchi rat attached to him. And it's obviously, like, supposed to be translating his thoughts. But it's just really cool and kind of creepy.
With trepidation. This place wrong. This place not right.
You say that about every place.
With insistence. Wrong. Smell wrong. Smell bad.
Smells the same to
With
me.
urgency. Move. Now under. Hide.
Okay. If this
With
isn't
growing
covered,
impatience. Be quiet.
Good evening, Steve. Are you just starting work? Thanks for the lurk, man. Appreciate you. He's got a little Tamagotchi in his back. It translates his thoughts.
you're sure this is the right way.
Look, it's a Tamagotchi, not a backpack.
Pathfinding. Very good. Better than smelly hate. Better than run. Paralyzed terror. Smelly hate. Run.
But that looks really cool. In fact, I'm going to wishlist that right now. And you should wishlist it too. It creeps me out the way that the rat talks. Don't know why.
Okay. If this isn't
Growing impatience. Be quiet.
From what I can gather, you're supposed to be breaking out of some testing facility that's gone wrong. I'm assuming that these other animals that you're hiding from are like test subjects gone wrong. This concept is either going to be really, really, really cool, or it's going to be really, really, really bad. But it's like, it's one of those things that I am just so happy that indie developers get to explore ideas like this. Big AAA developers, they just don't have the space to do shit like this anymore, because if it's not a guaranteed moneymaker, then you're not getting the funding and support that you need. It's called The Remake of the End of the Greatest RPG of All Time. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's called The Remake of the End of the Greatest RPG of All Time. And check it out. It looks pretty insane. Well, that's kind of the point.
Hi, I'm Lucas Emmanuel,
And I'm Jacob Dominic.
and we're two members of CoinDrop Games, making the remake of the end of the greatest RPG of all time.
The remake of The End of the Greatest RPG of All Time is a faithful recreation of the last hour of everyone's favorite RPG. You know, that one we all know.
You'll start this remake at 99% complete in the middle of the last dungeon, with an inventory just full of healing potions that you're just saving for the next boss.
If you somehow aren't remembering the greatest RPG of all time, that's okay. This remake includes the original game's manual, director's commentary,
and the game's director had to translate this part of the game entirely by hand using a Japanese to English dictionary.
and even clips of an unreleased documentary.
I never loved anything that much, and the only way we're going to get that again is by staying exactly faithful to what that original game was.
If you didn't know what the greatest RPG of all time was, I suppose it would turn this into a deduction puzzle game where you'd have to use these bonus features, deductive reasoning, and a little bit of creative thinking to figure out how to complete the last hour of this epic RPG.
Be for real. Who hasn't heard of...
We're still hard at work on this recreation of this all-time classic, but we hope you'll relive a little bit of the magic when we launch the demo for the remake of the end of the greatest RPG of all time on April 25th, 2025.
See, for me, right, this is just why indie games are so good. You just don't get stuff like that in regular games. I mean, this is the whole reason that Undertale was such a massive success. Every now and then you get that like lightning in a bottle thing with an indie game where they try something completely so outlandish that's never been done before. And sometimes it like totally pays off. And other times it just falls by the wayside, but this looks really cool, and they've obviously got some support and backing for it. Yeah, I'm excited for that. Do I like roguelike games? Yeah, I love roguelikes. Nightmare Reaper is one of my favourite roguelikes. This looks cool. I'm a big Metroidvania fan. I absolutely love Metroidvania games. So every time a new Metroidvania is like dancing about, I'm into it. It looks pretty cool. The only thing I'm kind of skeptical about with this one is the art style. There's something about it that's a little bit, I don't know. There's something that's not fully doing it for me with the art style, but the gameplay itself looks cool. Yeah, we do like a Metroidvania. Oh, this one looks really cool. Did you remember when you first watched Jurassic Park? Presumably when you were a kid, if you're anywhere near my age. And when I mean like a really, really young kid. The fear that instills in you, it baffles me that it's not being recreated in a game. Like, it baffles me that we've not had a Jurassic Park game that kind of does that. You've never watched it. Sing here. That's your homework. That's weekend homework for you right now.
There's one thing when they're on this like little post above the trees and they can hear it coming and you can see the trees moving. I used to have nightmares.
That fear, it doesn't... It blows my mind that there's not been a Jurassic Park game that does that shit. But here we go. Now, I'm making the assumption as well from this that it's co-op, because that looks like a co-op game. I can't quite work out whether it's like a sort of round-based Dead by Daylight style game or whether it's just a survival horror game. It's fucking scary, isn't it? Do you know, it's funny, innit, that, like, we grew up indoctrinated that T-Rexes were, like, the scariest thing going. But actually, they're just big chickens. They've figured that out now, aren't they? That they just look like big chickens.
They're still kind of scary.
Yeah, really scary. Imagine a big fucking massive chicken coming and gnash you to bits. But there's something more scary about a lizard, isn't there?
A chicken would never. Probably would, wouldn't it? It'd think you were a crumb. Do you know like how pigeons and birds, they just gnash at the ground and they don't even know what they're looking at?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you'll see a pigeon and it's gnashing at air in hopes that a crumb will go into its mouth.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like, you know, go check out some of these other ones because, like, you know, we've got to support these indie developers and whatnot. But I'm just showing you the ones that I thought looked cool, that really piqued my interest. But there wasn't anything on there that I thought looked totally shit. This one, though, this looks fucking great.
We all know why the walls around our capital exist. This world fell to the forces of darkness. Its light is replaced by shadows and the terrors that lurk within them. With our faith in the Divine One and the power he bestows on me, can we thrive in a corrupt world? Inquisitor, a word in private.
I'm going to have no time in April. I'm going to have no time to do anything in April with all these great looking games coming out. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it then for the games. I mean, there was some cool stuff. Oh, this was funny actually.
Welcome back, lucky contestant. Let's get you up to speed on what's been going on. 4 lucky people from around the world have been brought here to the world's largest indoor trampoline.
Oh, it's like Cuphead. Oh, no.
It's like Five Nights at Freddy's meets Among Us.
No, it's like meets playtime. Poppy's Playtime.
Yeah, meets Poppy's Playtime, meets Among Us. This is the next thing that's going to be like finding out that my nephews are buying toys off. And I'm thinking, how do you even know what this shit
There's gonna be teddies of that rabbit with the fucking teeth on one of those stands on Brigitte that people are selling.
Yeah. Do you remember what it was like being a kid when we were younger? Like, I could never have slept next to something like that. Not in a fucking million years. And now kids are like walking around with like Poppy Playtime backpacks and shit.
We aren't going bankrupt, and this isn't our last game show.
But this could be fun to hit on stream, I reckon. Finding Frankie. They were sat in a board meeting, weren't they? And they were like, how can we make the name of this game as close to Five Nights at Freddy's without it being Five Nights at Freddy's? What about Finding Frankie? Yeah, this one too. It's only short, but it looks a bit doomy. It's one of them things where, like, it's probably not going to be as good as Doom, but it still intrigues me. And when I say it looks a bit doomy, I mean it looks exactly like Doom. Exactly like Doom. Specifically, exactly like the new Doom that's coming, like, in May. Oh, yeah, no, I did like the look of this one. It gave me, like, old school platforming vibes. It just looked a little, like, a bit concerned about how well it's built. Yes, JC, you're coming at the right time, boy. Yeah, boy.